Hey everybody, let's talk about the destruction of civilizations. One of the first beings I ever met was Asho. Asho is a canine being, very warrior-esque, looks like a big wolf, muscular. Like if you took The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and you turned him into a wolf. He had a wolf head, muscular, made him thinner, leaner, thinner, not like as um, uh, muscle bound, I guess, but like more of a lean structure to him, but gave him that muscular, super strong warrior look. Asher was like that, black and white wolf, more black, more so black, had fingers with black, uh, kind of how dogs have paws or pads. His hands were like those pads with claws, and I believe he had five. I believe he had four fingers and a thumb. Not three. I'm pretty sure he had four fingers and a thumb. Was wearing a loincloth type thing, and he came to me. He came into my mind space one day. One of the first ETs I met, very uh, uh, difficult to experience because of his energy. His energy was very off-putting because I was not used to working with ETs at all. My guide said it was like the start of my journey, and he's one of the first ones they had me go visit on another world, and he was very intimidating. That's the word I'm looking for. Very intimidating energy, and part of that was because they don't like humans. The that group on that world do not like humans because we're destructive and egoic and don't pay attention and mindless is what the guides are giving me. Mindless is a word that they're giving me. But he was one of my first teachers and taught me about the destruction of civilizations. I didn't know why he was there. He just came to me one day and was looking through my memories, deciding if he was going to work with me. Now, he did not come to me of his own accord. One of my ETs, I believe, my Arcturian ET guide, reached out to him and said, hey, we have a student. We want you to teach them and work with them. And part of that was me getting over fear of like different likenesses for beings, but also working with somebody that was intimidating to see how I handled that and teach me about something very important, which was the destruction of civilizations. It's something I've been interested in for a very, very long time, since I was in my, probably since I was 18, and before that, in college, I started looking into like Atlantis and stuff when I was 18, 19, but I had been interested long before that. So I go down, and at this time point, I'm learning how to open a wormhole above my third eye and travel through it, which is an interesting experience to feel your energy come out, travel through, and go to these other worlds. Very difficult, hurts a lot when you first start doing it because of the pressure and it's like squeeze. When you first start to do it, it's like squeezing a watermelon through a hole that big. You're pushing through it, and then trying to focus is difficult because you've got that pressure, that immense energetic pressure. So he's also one of the first worlds I learned how to focus on. And my guides took me, and I saw this world, and it was very covered in desert. There was a lot of desert to it. I remember that. I remember there was some jungle-like places, but not a lot of water. That's one of the interesting things I've noticed, is that a lot of the worlds I've been to do not have a lot of oceans. They have water because there are jungles and there are lakes and streams, but the earth seems to be more unique in its ocean structure, and there are some other worlds that have big oceans, like the Syrian worlds and some other places, but a lot of these places do not have the water that we experience here, not in the way we experience it anyway. And so I traveled down, and he meets me in the desert, and I'm pretty sure he was physically there. Oh man, I'm trying to think back of it, because sometimes the beings meet me physically, and sometimes like Garut. Before I ever met him physically, I was meeting him astrally. I'm pretty sure Asho was physically in the desert, was living like on the border of a jungle and a desert. I'd have to look at my books. If you have my book, the third one, Experiences with Extraterrestrials, it's in there. There'll be more details in there, but it's been so long, it's starting to fade from my memory because of the how many experiences I've had, and it's just been 4 years now, I think, since I've worked with him. So I go down, and I'm sitting across from him, and there's sand there. And what I notice about the sand is that he's like scraping it away, and I realize the sand wasn't really true sand. The sand was almost like metal that had been ground to dust, essentially, mixed with regular dirt and sand and stuff. You could see it in the sand, and he starts talking to me about this and starts showing me how his world has been through evolutions of society. Evolutions where society grows. It, excuse me. Thank you for your patience with me too. I'm still working on reopening my throat after some issues this month. So it might be, you may experience some like choppiness in how I'm speaking and that's part of why. But so with Asho, he started showing me like these civilizations on his world rising, and they'd grow and they'd build huts, and then a wave would come in and wipe the huts out and destroy it and leave nothing behind. But it would the people would still be there, the beings would still be there. So another couple hundred years would go by, 1,000 years would go by, and this time they would build even greater structures, and something would happen: earthquakes, mountains, tectonic plate shifts, all this other stuff, and that would get wiped out. That would fall, decimate, get wiped out, and it kept doing that. And I didn't understand. I was like, why are you showing me this? And he keeps showing me it. It's almost like we went through a several thousand-year cycle of what this looked like. And the whole point was about our own Earth, was explaining our Earth and the fact that humans have been here far, 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 far longer than any historian, anthropologist, archaeologist will admit. Now, you will get some archaeologists and stuff to admit, but they're on the fringe, and they're considered, like Graham Hancock back in the 90s was considered laughable for his theories about society being far older than we imagined. And now a lot of his ideas are accepted. He's not given the credit, but they're accepted because they found proof of some of this stuff that was not through him, that was through other ways. And as goes everything with academics, those who came before do not necessarily get the credit. It's those who, found it now. But we're finding out history is far, far, far older than we imagined for humans. And in learning this process, this is where I learned, like, okay, so first of all, humans have been here for a very long time. Not only a very long time, beings have been here for a very long time. Humans have colonized space. They have had multiple cities and versions of society on Earth that had been wiped time and time again. And it continues to happen. And I was like, what's the purpose of this? And they're like, to show you that civilizations can be completely destroyed without a sign that they ever existed, and that they can continue to rise and come up and continue forward and then be destroyed again. It's a natural cycle of a planet. All the planets do it. It's a natural cycle of death and destruction to create new life, to reset, to do different things. And we have experienced it multiple times. The flood story is one of those stories. The Atlantis Lumerian story with the floods and the sinking Atlantis into the seas, which some of that might have actually been of their own doing, but those are earth changes too. We're going through earth changes now, and if you think about it, when it comes to the technology we have, the way we build our buildings, think about how we build our homes now. We manufacture our homes without true wood and stuff. Back in the day, you built a log cabin. It was wood. It could last 200 years, if not longer. I mean, I was just at a cabin that's probably 200 years old, if not longer. You go and you find these cabins, and they're still there. But if somebody buys a manufactured home, in 50 years, they don't hold up. They don't hold up unless you constantly take care of them, because they're not made out of solid wood. They're made out of chemicals and all these particle boards and all this other stuff. They're not made to last. So if you think about, if something happened today, right now, today, and a giant wave came in, massive, more massive than anything we could imagine, and it wiped out all the coastal cities, it wiped out, pushed inland, people couldn't use their homes anymore, giant storms came up, and all but a small handful of humans survive. So say a small handful of humans go to the mountains, they flee to the mountains, but they can't use any of the homes or structures anymore. There's not a population to do machining. There's not a population to do to keep up with the types of technology we use today. It would not take long for nature to not only reclaim our buildings, but to completely wipe them out. There's a book, and I can see the cover, but I can't think of the name of it. Unfortunately, I can't think of the name of it. If I still had it, I would look. I might still have it. I don't know. I think I got rid of that one. But it's about this gentleman did a bunch of research on nature reclaiming places that had been abandoned by humans, because there are a lot of places. There are a lot of ghost towns and that. And a lot of people say, oh, it'll take, 100 years or something for nature to reclaim it. No, he had it down to like 10. It's like, in a lot of places, within 5 years, if you leave the roads unmaintained, within 5 years, nature takes over the roads. And within 10 years, you've got the buildings are growing with plants and all this stuff. Animals have been in them. Trees are growing out the windows. All this type of thing. Nature can easily reclaim everything that we have built. Think about the ancients. What is still standing? Pyramids, temples. What are they made out of? Giant stone blocks. We don't have anything like that. Even the stuff we have today that looks like it could be of that type of nature. We have buildings that are built out of stone, but they're not built out of stone the way they used to be. They're built out of stone mixed with all kinds of wood and all kinds of other stuff. And so you might have the front columns of something standing or the steps of something standing still there. But over time, nature could demolish our cities and even the structures of our skyscrapers that are all metal. Think about how much metal is used to build all that stuff. Metal erodes really fast when left unattended. So nature comes in, pulls out all the wood, all the other stuff, plants start growing, things shift, skyscrapers collapse. Metal's there, starts rusting. It starts rusting away, winds blow in, water comes in. It could turn it to sand very easily. And that's one of the things they were showing me, these ETs. And Asho is not the first one. Asho is just one of the first ones. Showing me how easy it is for a planet to reclaim civilization. How easy it is. Now, easy given the passage of time, the passage of, a few hundred years, 1,000 years. Imagine, if you've seen buildings around your community. I have one down the road that looks like it was built, 50 years ago, but it's like, you look at it and it's just reclaimed by nature, and it's definitely not an old building. There's a couple of them around here that are surrounded by trees, maple trees that are 20, 30 years old. And the building is completely demolished, moss growing on it, plants growing through them, roofs collapsed, all that. Like, the building isn't anywhere usable. It is nature's now. Imagine if we disappeared or there was a disaster of some kind. There would be no evidence other than stone. So all those stone monuments you see in cities where they spent all kinds of money to put these stone monuments up, those would still be there probably. But those metal ones, they would rust away sooner or later. They would erode quickly. Metal disappears over time. The stone is what stays, which is, we can see that with pyramids. We can see that with all the stone structures around the world, that one of the hardiest objects are the non-man-made materials, just carved out of natural stone. And that's the thing where I think, like, okay, well, how hardy is cement really? Because a lot of the stonework we see in ancient sites is carved from natural stone, from granite, from really hard stuff. We make our own. Which one holds up more? I suspect the cement would erode much faster than granite. We just do that because it's cheaper than hauling granite and cutting it and forming it and all that. And we don't have the ability to do that when it's as heavy as granite is and stuff. So it's something to think about that the ETs have talked about before. For some reason came up a week or so ago, so I made a note to talk about it, that the planet can easily reclaim civilizations. It does not happen just on Earth. It happens on many worlds. And it is a natural act of balance. As a civilization grows, things reset. It's a natural act of creation, life and death, resetting to create anew. Nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be concerned of. It's just natural. But it makes you wonder, well, what do we not know about? And I can tell you, from my experience and my feelings, everybody talks about Atlantis and Lemuria. There are far, far more civilizations that have been here than just those two. Far more than just Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu. Rama is one that always pops in my head, Rama. And there are others that have been here too. And, we'll be astonished when the truth comes out about what we do know of ancient societies, and then it will really put a question mark on what don't we know about ancient societies. And not only ancient societies of humans, but ETs. What ETs have been here? What ETs are still here in the earth, underground? You know, which ones survived and helped out? Which ones are still around? That sort of thing. So that was just the topic that came up. Let me know if you have any questions, want me to explain anything in a little more detail. But thank you for watching, and I love each and every one of you. I'm grateful for all of you.